Have you ever felt completely fine? No pain, no warning signs, no strange symptoms at all, and yet something deep inside your body was quietly breaking down every single day. What if I told you that right now millions of people are losing their kidney function without knowing it, and by the time they feel sick, more than half of their kidney power is already gone permanently? This is exactly why kidney disease is one of the most dangerous silent conditions today. No sharp pain, no loud alarms, just slow, invisible damage happening year after year until one morning your body suddenly can't keep up anymore. And the most frightening part is this: many of these people believe they are doing everything right. Eating less salt, drinking water, feeling normal. I'm Dr. Johnny, and in this video, I'm going to show you what most people and even many doctors don't explain clearly about protecting and supporting your kidneys before it's too late. Because the truth is, small, daily choices made at the right time and in the right way can dramatically change how your kidneys age. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do starting today. When we talk about protecting the kidneys, most people immediately think about cutting salt or avoiding protein. But very few realize that the first real support for stressed kidneys often comes from something far more basic: what you eat at the very start of the day. This is where whole grain oatmeal quietly enters the story, not as a trendy superfood, but as a daily stabilizer that works in the background while most people are distracted by supplements and quick fixes. I remember a patient who came in convinced he was doing everything right. He avoided salty foods, drank plenty of water, and even switched to egg whites for breakfast. But his labs kept drifting in the wrong direction. What stood out wasn't what he was eating, it was what he wasn't. His mornings were built around refined carbs, white toast, sweet cereals, instant oats loaded with sugar. Once we replaced that with plain whole grain oatmeal eaten consistently, something unexpected happened. His blood sugar curves flattened, his morning blood pressure spikes softened, and within months his kidney markers stopped deteriorating. That's not a coincidence, and science explains why. Whole grain oatmeal is rich in beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that slows glucose absorption and reduces insulin spikes. For kidneys, this matters more than most people think. Sudden blood sugar rises force the kidneys to work harder, increasing pressure inside the glomeruli, the tiny filters that quietly scar over time. Studies show that diets high in soluble fiber are associated with improved insulin sensitivity and reduced inflammation, both of which directly lower stress on kidney filtration units. In practical terms, this means oatmeal doesn't just fill you up, it buys your kidneys time. There's another layer most people miss. Oatmeal naturally helps lower LDL cholesterol and improves vascular flexibility. Why does that matter for kidneys? Because the kidneys are one of the most vascular organs in the body. Every time blood pressure surges or vessels stiffen, microscopic damage accumulates. By improving endothelial function and reducing oxidative stress, whole grain oats indirectly protect kidney blood flow, something no pill can fully replicate. But here's the critical distinction: not all oatmeal is equal. Instant oats, flavored packets, and pre-sweetened versions can do more harm than good. They digest too fast, spike glucose too quickly, and often contain hidden sodium and phosphorus additives, two silent enemies of kidney health. What we're talking about here is steel-cut oats or old-fashioned rolled oats, cooked slowly, plain, and paired wisely. And this is where strategy matters. When oatmeal is eaten alone with sugar or sweetened milk, its benefits shrink. But when combined with a small amount of healthy fat like ground flaxseed or topped with berries instead of sugar, its protective effect multiplies. You're no longer just eating breakfast. You're actively reducing inflammation, stabilizing metabolism, and easing the filtration workload your kidneys carry every single morning. Now pause for a second, because this is important. Many people believe kidney damage happens suddenly. It doesn't. It happens quietly, meal by meal, habit by habit. Oatmeal works not because it's dramatic, but because it's consistent. It creates a metabolic environment where kidneys are no longer under constant attack. And here's a question I want you to think about honestly. How many mornings have you started your day with something that spikes your blood sugar before 9 a.m.? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And that's exactly why this matters. But oatmeal, as powerful as it is only one piece of the puzzle. Because there's another common food many people eat thinking it's healthy, Yet it quietly accelerates kidney damage when chosen or prepared the wrong way. And most people never see it coming. But knowing this alone isn't enough because the next factor is even more dangerous and almost everyone overlooks it. After talking about whole grain oatmeal, many people immediately ask the same question. But where do I get protein without hurting my kidneys? This is where things often go wrong and where boiled eggs quietly become one of the most misunderstood foods in kidney health. I once worked with a woman who had early-stage kidney decline but was terrified of losing muscle. So she did what many people do: protein shakes, grilled meats, egg white omelets every morning. On paper, it looked clean. In reality, her kidney workload kept climbing. When we reviewed her diet closely, the problem wasn't protein itself, it was the type, the dose, and the timing. Once she shifted to one properly prepared boiled egg, eaten mindfully, instead of protein overload, her labs stabilized, her energy improved, and her kidneys finally got a break. Here's the science behind why that happens. Eggs contain high biological value protein, meaning they provide all essential amino acids in a form your body can use efficiently. For the kidneys, this matters enormously. Low quality or excessive protein forces the kidneys to work harder to clear nitrogen waste, increasing intraglomerular pressure over time. Studies consistently show that moderate amounts of high-quality protein reduce metabolic waste compared to large amounts of lower-quality sources. In simple terms, one well-used protein is far safer than 3 poorly handled ones. But eggs offer more than protein. Egg yolks contain choline, a nutrient essential for cell membrane integrity and inflammation control. Chronic kidney disease is closely tied to low-grade inflammation, and choline helps regulate that process. Eggs also provide lutein and zeaxanthin antioxidants that protect blood vessels, including the delicate microvessels that feed your kidneys. Now let's address the biggest fear people have: cholesterol. This is where outdated advice still causes damage. Large reviews over the past decade show that dietary cholesterol from eggs has minimal impact on blood cholesterol for most people. What actually harms kidney function is not eggs, it's ultra-processed fats, refined sugars, and constant glucose spikes. When eggs are boiled, not fried, not drowned in oil, not paired with processed meats, they become one of the cleanest protein sources your kidneys can tolerate. But preparation is everything. Boiling preserves protein structure without creating inflammatory compounds. Frying or scrambling at high heat oxidizes fats and adds oils that increase oxidative stress. Pairing eggs with bacon or salty sauces loads the body with sodium and phosphorus, 2 minerals kidneys already struggle to regulate. A single boiled egg eaten plain or with vegetables keeps the metabolic burden low while delivering maximum benefit. This is where many people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They hear eggs are healthy, then eat 3 or 4 at once, daily thinking more is better. For kidneys, more is not better. Consistency beats intensity. 1 egg 3 to 5 times per week integrated into a balanced meal is often far safer than daily protein stacking. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt heavy, sluggish, or thirsty after a high-protein meal? That's not just digestion. That's your kidneys working overtime. When protein intake exceeds what your body needs, the kidneys pay the price. And here's the deeper truth: eggs work best because they don't spike blood sugar. Stable glucose means stable filtration pressure. Stable pressure means slower kidney damage. That's why eggs, when used correctly, support kidney longevity rather than accelerate decline. But eggs are still only one piece of the equation. Even the cleanest protein can turn harmful if paired with the wrong foods or habits. And there's a common daily ingredient most people consume without thinking, one that silently magnifies kidney damage more than protein ever could. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next factor is even more dangerous, and almost everyone overlooks it. After oatmeal and boiled eggs, many people feel confident they're on the right track. And that's usually when they say, "Great, I'll just add avocado toast." Everyone says it's healthy. But this is where kidney-friendly eating quietly turns into kidney stress, not because avocado is bad, and not because bread is evil, but because this combination is widely misunderstood and often used the wrong way. I once had a patient who proudly told me she had switched to clean eating. Every morning, whole grain toast with avocado, no meat, no salt, no junk food. Yet her potassium levels kept creeping up and her kidney function continued to slide. She was confused and honestly frustrated because she believed she was doing exactly what health influencers and even some nutrition advice recommended. The problem wasn't her intention. It was the details no one explained to her. Let's break this down carefully. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, which help reduce inflammation and improve blood vessel flexibility. For the kidneys, healthy fats matter because they stabilize blood pressure and reduce oxidative stress in renal blood flow. That's the benefit, and it's real. Avocados also help improve insulin sensitivity, which indirectly lowers kidney workload over time. But here's the part most people never hear. Avocados are also very high in potassium. One medium avocado can contain more potassium than a banana, sometimes close to 700 milligrams. For people with perfectly healthy kidneys, that's not a problem. But for anyone with declining kidney function, early CKD, or fluctuating labs potassium can silently accumulate in the blood long before symptoms appear. Now let's talk about the bread. Many people assume whole grain automatically means kidney safe. It doesn't. Commercial breads, even brown or multigrain ones, often contain hidden sodium phosphate additives and fast-digesting starches. These additives increase fluid retention, raise blood pressure, and strain kidney filtration. Combine that with avocado's potassium load, and suddenly what looked like a clean breakfast becomes a metabolic challenge your kidneys weren't ready for. This is where misunderstanding turns into damage. But here's the nuance, and this is critical. Bread with avocado is not inherently harmful. It becomes harmful when portion size, frequency, and kidney status are ignored. When eaten occasionally with the right type of bread in the right amount, it can still fit into a kidney-supportive lifestyle. The science supports this balance. Diets rich in unsaturated fats are associated with lower inflammation markers and improved cardiovascular outcomes, both closely linked to kidney longevity. However, studies also show that elevated potassium levels are one of the strongest predictors of hospitalization in CKD patients when intake isn't adjusted properly. In other words, the same food can protect or harm depending on context. So what does doing it right actually look like first portion control? We're not talking about a whole avocado smashed thick onto 2 slices of toast. For kidney support, think 1/4 to 1/3 of an avocado thinly spread. Enough to gain the fat benefits without overwhelming potassium load. Second, bread selection. Choose low-sodium additive-free bread, ideally sourdough, or minimally processed whole grain. Avoid breads with phosphate preservatives. They're absorbed almost completely and hit the kidneys hard. Third, timing and pairing. Avocado toast works best when paired with fiber-rich vegetables or eaten after protein, not alone on an empty stomach. This slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and reduces sudden electrolyte shifts. Here's something most people never connect: potassium problems don't feel dramatic at first. There's no sharp pain, no warning sign, just fatigue, muscle weakness, or subtle heart rhythm changes later on. That's why avocado toast feels safe until it isn't. Let me ask you directly, have you ever eaten something labeled healthy and assumed it couldn't possibly be part of the problem? If so, you're not wrong for trusting that advice. But kidney health demands precision, not trends. And here's the bigger picture. Even when foods are chosen carefully, there's still one daily habit, something people do automatically without thinking, that can completely cancel out all these benefits and push the kidneys closer to failure. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next factor is even more dangerous, and almost everyone overlooks it. After talking about foods that are often misunderstood, it might feel like kidney-friendly eating is all about restriction. Less of this. Be careful with that. Measure everything. But here's where the story shifts, because supporting your kidneys doesn't always mean eating heavier or more complex meals. Sometimes the most powerful choice is also the lightest. And that's exactly where a blueberry smoothie done the right way earns its place. I remember an older gentleman who struggled every morning. Solid breakfast made him feel bloated and tired, so he often skipped breakfast entirely until his blood sugar would crash later in the day, putting even more stress on his kidneys. We didn't give him supplements. We didn't overload him with protein. We started with a simple blueberry smoothie. Within weeks, his energy stabilized, his appetite improved, and most importantly, his lab trends stopped swinging so wildly. That's not magic. That's physiology. Blueberries are one of the richest natural sources of anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that directly reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. Why does this matter for kidneys? Because kidney damage is driven not just by pressure and sugar, but by chronic inflammation that slowly scars the filtering units. Research consistently shows that higher anthocyanin intake is associated with improved vascular function, reduced inflammatory markers, and better metabolic control, all of which ease the burden on the kidneys. But blueberries go a step further. They are low in potassium compared to many other fruits, making them far safer for people with early to moderate kidney concerns. This is a critical distinction. Many healthy smoothies fail kidney patients because they're loaded with bananas, oranges, or tropical fruits that spike potassium and sugar at the same time. Blueberries offer protection without overload. Now let's talk about the word that scares people: smoothie. The problem isn't blending. The problem is what gets blended together. A kidney-supportive blueberry smoothie is not fruit juice in disguise. It's not sweet, it's not oversized, and it's not built to chase dopamine. When done correctly, it becomes a metabolic stabilizer, not a sugar bomb. Here's what science shows: when blueberries are paired with fiber-healthy fats or protein, their natural sugars are absorbed slowly. This prevents sharp glucose spikes that increase filtration pressure inside the kidneys. Stable glucose equals stable pressure, and stable pressure slows kidney decline. But when blueberries are blended with fruit juice, honey syrups, or multiple high-sugar fruits, that benefit disappears. The kidneys are forced to compensate for a sudden metabolic surge, exactly what we're trying to avoid. This is where storytelling meets reality. So many people tell me, but it's just fruit. And that's true, but kidneys don't respond to labels. They respond to load. A small blueberry smoothie made with water or unsweetened plant milk, a handful of blueberries, and perhaps a tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia creates a completely different outcome than a cafe-style smoothie with 5 ingredients and a straw the size of a garden hose. There's also an often overlooked benefit here: hydration. Blueberry smoothies provide structured hydration, meaning water is absorbed more gradually when combined with fiber. This supports kidney perfusion without forcing excess fluid through the system all at once, especially important for people who deal with swelling or blood pressure fluctuations. Let me pause and ask you something. Have you ever had a healthy smoothie and felt shaky, hungry, or exhausted an hour later? That's not your imagination. That's your kidneys and metabolism reacting to imbalance. Blueberries used intentionally flip that script. They calm rather than stimulate. They protect rather than provoke. And here's the emotional truth behind this point: kidney health isn't about punishment. It's about creating mornings where your body feels supported instead of attacked. A gentle breakfast can still be powerful when it works with your physiology, not against it. But here's the turning point. Even if you choose the right foods: oatmeal, eggs, avocado in moderation, blueberries done correctly, there is still one daily behavior that can quietly undo all of it. A habit so common, so normalized, that almost no one questions it. Yet it plays a decisive role in whether kidneys recover or continue to decline. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next factor is even more dangerous, and almost everyone overlooks it. Before we close, I want you to hear this clearly. If you're watching this and thinking, "I wish I had known this earlier," please don't blame yourself. Kidney disease doesn't happen overnight, and protecting your kidneys doesn't require perfection. What truly matters is that you're paying attention now, and that already puts you ahead of where most people are. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need fear-based rules. What your kidneys need most is consistency, small, calm choices repeated every day. A better breakfast, fewer hidden minerals, less inflammation, more awareness. Over time, these simple habits reduce stress in your kidneys, support better blood flow, and give your body the chance to protect what function you still have. If this video helped you understand your kidneys a little better, please save it. Mornings get busy, and this is the kind of information you'll want to come back to, especially on days when you're not sure what's safe to eat or what decision to make. And if you care about protecting your kidneys long-term, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Every week, I share clear, practical medical knowledge designed to help you slow kidney decline, avoid common mistakes, and feel more confident about your health. And most importantly, remember this: your kidneys are not failing you. They've been working quietly for you every single day, often without symptoms, often without recognition. By learning how to support them now, you're giving them something powerful: time relief, and a real chance to keep working with you for years to come. Take care of yourself. Start with tomorrow morning, and I'll see you in the next video.